Hello and welcome to another video from Shane here at Saberbay. In this video we're going to be going over the Survivor hilt made by us here at Saberbay and distributed. This is the Jimmy Saber Junk design that he designed and engineered, and this one is for our customer Lewis. So we're going to be going over the hilt, talking about the aesthetic features as well as how to use the hilt once it's installed. This has the double crystal chamber chassis design. So first things first, right off the bat, everything is fully assembled. It is a really nice looking saber. It is in still the polished aluminum finish. So if you get it like this, you'll notice that it's going to be hard to keep your fingerprints off of it. But the good news is if you decide to have it weathered at any point, all the electronics can be safely removed fully, so that you can take them out, and whatever weathering process you use, afterwards the electronics can be put back in place. And there's another video on how to do that specifically, so I won't go over that in this video. So a couple things I'm going to point out. Included with the hilt, along with the box, and you get the blade retention wrench, which is for this screw on the back right here. It takes a 1-inch blade. I'll pop in a test blade here once we get going. It is a single button saber, switch plunger right here, so the whole board is controlled through 1-button controls. There are 2 pieces that are held down by a strong double-sided tape. You have your greebly right here, front and back, as well as this piece and this piece. Located underneath these 2 parts right here are 3 retention screws, which hold in this piece down inside this body right here. You won't be able to see it, and the reason those are there is for clocking up the grip, because without an install, receiving the empty hilt, this is not perfectly aligned, but once you get everything installed and buttoned up, this gets put into place and clocked properly. Now if you were to swap out this grip section with the Fallen Order damaged grip, all you need to do is, after removing this, you would take these off, and you can do that with a little bit of force. It's just double-sided tape on the back. You would loosen up these screws, again 3 of each, and that way you could clock the new grip, if you get the Fallen Order grip that is, to the way you want. So they are not going to match exactly the same in that regard. But let's go ahead and let's take off the grip section here and reveal the chassis. So this is installed with CFX. This again is a Jimmy Saber Junk chassis design. Has a lot of cool features, a lot of neat little aspects about it. And before we get going here, I'd just like to say that this is a really fantastic design. And it's also interchangeable with a more basic design if people ever want the need to have a more basic and don't want the crystal chamber version. It is interchangeable with the twist and click feature. But in this one, we have a gold, sort of a gold leaf rub and buff metallic paint. It is really nice. It kind of highlights some of the design features here, kind of gives a little bit of contrast between the gold and the black underneath. You have this crystal chamber here on the bottom. You have the crystal on the inside right here. You have an OLED display screen, high amp kill switch, and removable battery. So by cycling the power, which is always a good idea when you're taking the battery out, your spring side is going to be your negative right here. So your button top is your positive end pointed towards the bottom or the pommel. Flat top is always your negative side. You can put that in. Let's go ahead and turn the saber on. So your OLED screen, if you're cycling through fonts, it will animate your font selections while the Saber is on, you'll have a couple things. You'll have an idle pulsing color here. These two crystals are programmed independently of the main blade. Now this is a custom default configuration that I already have set up for builds such as this. If you wanted to change these settings, there is a way to do it, but for those a bit unfamiliar with the configuration settings for how to do that, it may be best to reach out to a professional to have that done. And if you ever do want to change settings, I always recommend you back up a copy of the original settings on the SD card. So for this setup here, the board is installed USB side up, and the SD card is underneath. You can use a pair of tweezers to pop the card in and out, but you can also access everything you need via USB right here through the mass storage system. It's really easy and convenient, and I actually recommend that for any build such as this, especially with CFX. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. So all your sound venting is hidden here through the cutouts. It's a hidden venting system. You can see when the Saber is on, you'll have a pulsing effect with the crystal chambers. It's going to be a blade matching color with the emitter. I'm going to turn the Saber on and off intermittently so you can hear the instruction, because sometimes it could be a little hard to hear over the speaker. So when the Saber is on, some of the different controls, you have single presses for blaster deflects. For a lockup, you need to press the button and clash it at the same time. Let's see if I can actually activate that. Now to change colors, when the Saber is on, you're going to do a press and rotate motion. It's a simultaneous thing. It may take some practice to do. And then by rotating it, you'll actually change the color. And with the OLED screen, it will actually tell you which color profile it is. There's a lot of color profiles. I think there's 32. But you'll see that the color profile will change, and by rotating it, you'll cycle through all the different colors. I'm just going to go back to the one that I had already on here. And when you are ready to select, trying to find the color, just press the button again. You'll hear that beep, and you're ready to go. And you also have gesture controls with CFX. You twist on and off. Just a twist to the right to turn on, and a twist to the left to turn off. Now taking out this chassis is really easy. This has a twist and click setup, which means that the chassis retention doesn't require any screws, and it's a twisting motion. So I'm going to go to the left here, and you'll feel the chassis sort of release, and then you can pull it right out. Now this is also configured with Bluetooth. Now this blue blinking light means that it's ready to go and connect. It's not paired currently because I'm using my phone to record this, but there is an app. I highly recommend the app called Crystal FX. It's really great for Bluetooth pairing and remotely controlling the board once you have it paired. It's really easy to set up. All these modules have the same code. It's a 6-digit code. It's just 000000. And if you need some help on getting that set up, I can help walk you through it, but it is very easy to pair. It will always show up as FSC BT909. That is the name of this module if you're going to search for the device on the Bluetooth pairing. Now, a couple things to point out about handling this. One is the rub and buff metallic. It can wear down over time. With normal handling, you should be okay. I just don't recommend intentionally trying to rub this off because it will come off, but it will last a long time. Also, when handling the board, since everything is already set up this way, I don't recommend trying to lift the board up, remove it from its holder. Again, when you're going to mess with the battery, it's always safe to power it off before taking the battery out or messing or touching anything with the board, really. Don't ever use metal objects. Always be careful using a metal object with any of these components. You don't want to cause any shorts. For example, if this metal, Allen wrench here were to make contact with these two pads on the corners, this is a positive negative, that would cause a short and probably damage some components. So just use caution. Use caution when you're handling delicate components like soundboards and whatnot. A couple other things about the chassis. So this piece right here, this bottom section, can actually come out. It's a little bit of a friction tight fit, and it twists to the left, and you can wiggle it out. So this is a separate piece, which can actually be swapped out for the Fallen Order version. But you'll see there's just a standard connector here, so it's all sort of able to connect, but it just goes in just like that, and it's pretty tight, so you won't hear the actual clicking sound like you do with this up here. And you can see the other top part of this connection is similar. It's got the rotary chassis PCB connection, which has a matching pin set up in here that's retained inside the hilt, and then your speaker vents out through this section right here. So putting this back in is pretty easy. You're just going to kind of insert it to about right there. You'll feel it go in, and then you twist to the right, and you will hear a click. So twist and click. Flip the kill switch again. Changing sound fonts while the Saber is off, press and hold down this button.
Sound bank selection ready.
Again, you'll have the animated display telling you what the sound fonts are. Comes with a lot of preloaded fonts, mostly stock. And pressing the button once to cycle through.
Youngling.
This is General Kenobi. Ancient prophecies.
Audio player. SD card USB access.
So this is where you would go if you wanted to use the mass storage system. You need the appropriate cable, but we're not going to do that. But this is where you would go for that.
System menu. Games. System menu. Games. Exit menu.
Night fall.
Crystal focus.
Crystal focus.
Press and hold down. So a lot of the fonts will be defaulted to red, but you can just go in, turn it on. Let's change the color.
Spectre.
And it gets even louder when you put the grip back on. Let's go ahead and put a little blade in here just to test it. This is just a little dummy Shoto blade that I have here.
Sound energy critical.
So if you hear that sound, that means it has a low battery. We'll change the color. In addition to changing the color, you can also change the blade styles. press and hold while you're in spectrum mode.
Read profiles.
And you can also rotate. Get some different effects. And it should also reflect on the crystals. So the battery is a bit low right now, which is causing some false clashes. A lot of things can happen when you have a low battery. False clashes, distorted volume. I need to charge this up, so I'm going to make sure I do that before I send this out. But that is a basic rundown. There are a lot more things that you can do with CFX. A lot more things that can be tweaked, customized to your liking. But this provides a fairly good review of sort of an out-of-the-box experience. And you can pick it up and start using it right away. It's pre-configured with all the sound fonts, some cool animations, colors, blade styles, but you should be able to use this right when you get it. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to make sure I charge the battery first before I get this sent out. And other than that, that is just a basic review. Of course, if you have any questions, you can always send a message to the page, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to answer any of those for you. But I just want to say thank you again to Lewis. Thank you for the opportunity to build this. I had a really great time. This was fun to put together. It looks beautiful. I hope you enjoy it. And I thank you so much. Thank you so much for your business, and appreciate you. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you're not, obviously if you're not Lewis, or you're just a regular customer interested in this build, hope you found this video helpful. And again, you can always send an email or message the page, and these are also in stock. If you want to commission your own, I'm available for those, and I can provide pricing and breakdowns to replicate this build. Thank you guys again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.